Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Today we're diving into a rather controversial topic about Rubio's alleged interference with the UN, a subject that's been labeled both shameful and illegal, with commentary from Professor Jeffrey Sachs.
I'm really looking forward to this discussion. So, what exactly are we unpacking when we say illegal interference in this context?
Yep, right. Well, you see, the video, streamed live by Judge Napolitano's channel on Judging Freedom, accuses Rubio of stepping way over the line. It's like he intervened in UN operations in a manner that many argue violates established international protocols, which raises significant legal questions.
Yeah, that line between political maneuvering and outright illegality is so blurry sometimes. How do you think the video connects his actions with this term illegal?
It's like they're using strong language to force the audience to think about accountability on the international stage. Labeling it illegal isn't just a legal claim, it's a moral indictment too. And it's presented with all the dramatic fanfare of a live broadcast, which helps stir public emotion.
Right. Interesting. And then we have Professor Jeffrey Sachs contributing to this debate, right? How does his input play into all this?
Exactly. Sachs, known for his incisive economic and political commentary, brings in the global perspective. His involvement, whether you agree with him or not, adds a layer of academic authority, kind of like saying, look, even experts see this as a major deviation from norm.
That's a key point. However, don't you think that sometimes this dramatic framing can border on sensationalism? It might skew perceptions.
I do see that, and honestly, it's a fair, respectful challenge. I mean, describing actions as shameful and illegal is not just descriptive, it's a call for accountability. It certainly does raise the question, are we simply reacting to a provocative headline or engaging with a deeper issue of international law and political ethics?
Yeah, I get that. Absolutely. And the context here is fascinating because the medium itself, a live stream on a channel known for its politically charged commentary, also influences how seriously people interpret the legality of Rubio's actions.
Right on. And the live stream aspect is particularly potent. Live chat, immediate reactions. It's sort of like being in a grand global town hall meeting where every comment can amplify or even distort the original message.
And then there's the interplay of ads and sponsored segments, which almost add a commercial twist to a heavy political debate. It's a bit ironic, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. It's like you're watching a high-stakes debate on international law, and then bam, you get a 70% off sale ad for insoles. It's almost a metaphor for our fragmented media landscape, where deep political discussions and commercial interests collide.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you question, are we more engaged with the news or just distracted by the sales pitches?
Precisely. And stepping back, the video itself, with its title and live presentation style, is a microcosm of today's politicized media environment. It takes a contentious issue, Rubio's interference, and presents it with every tool at its disposal to stir emotion, expert commentary, live chats, sponsors, and a hard-hitting narrative.
Now, something that caught my attention was how this entire smokescreen of drama also seems to serve as a gateway to wider questions about international respect for legal processes. What do you make of that?
That's spot on. It's not just about Rubio, but rather about how political figures interact with global institutions like the UN. When discourse starts labeling actions so strongly, it forces all of us to ask what the acceptable boundaries are, both legally and morally.
And this really ties into the debate about, the erosion of trust in global bodies. I mean, if national politicians bend the rules, what message does that send internationally?
Exactly. It's kind of like if you have a referee in a game and the players start arguing over slight infractions, eventually the whole game's integrity comes into question. The UN is supposed to be that neutral referee in international affairs, and any interference, especially if it's labeled as illegal, throws that whole system under scrutiny.
Right, exactly. But here's a thought. How much of this is genuine legal critique versus political posturing? I mean, could it be that the harsh terms are used to sway public opinion rather than establish a solid legal framework?
I think that's a valid point. It's like, yes, the use of terms like illegal might be more rhetorical than judicial. In the heat of political debate, language becomes a weapon. While there might be legal infractions, the language used often exceeds what a court might officially pronounce.
I see that. And that, in itself, is a bit risky. When political discourse relies too heavily on charged language, it might oversimplify the complexities of law and the careful checks and balances that should exist.
Absolutely. And it's a balancing act. On one hand, you want to call out serious issues, but on the other, language can become so emotive that it clouds reasoned analysis. The video certainly walks that fine line.
Yeah, I agree. I also noticed that alongside this hot topic, the channel links to other geopolitical debates, like discussions around Gaza, Ukraine, and a range of international topics. It seems like they're weaving this story into a much bigger tapestry of global politics.
Totally. It's like each video is part of a grander narrative about global power dynamics. The Rubio incident becomes a touchstone for discussing not just domestic politics, but also how the US interacts with international bodies.
Yep, exactly. It does create a sort of multi-dimensional debate, doesn't it? One where economic, legal, and moral angles all converge to analyze political actions.
Yeah, it's like a triple layered cake of political commentary. On one layer, you have the immediate legal and ethical question of interference. On another, you have the broader implications for international relations. And then there's the media dynamics that shape how this is all perceived.
That's a neat analogy. Definitely. And do you think the live format adds any pressure on the commentators? I mean, it's like they have to think quickly on their feet while also trying to stay accurate.
Oh, for sure. Live streaming is like performing on a stage where every viewer's comment can immediately feed back into the discussion. It's exhilarating and risky at the same time. Emotions run high, and nuances can be lost in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, it's a high wire act. Now, you mentioned earlier that the language might be more explosive than the legal facts would warrant. Do you think that's a fair critique?
I do. I mean, while there's a serious discussion to be had about political interference at an international level, the word illegal carries a gravity that might not be fully backed by judicial decisions. It's a bit like throwing a grenade into a debate. The shock factor might overshadow the actual legal
I
arguments.
see what you mean. And yet, it does effectively ignite interest and debate. The audience gets pulled into the argument, which might be the point, even if it sacrifices some legal precision.
Exactly. It's a trade-off. The channel aims to engage viewers while also, perhaps, stirring political action or at least reflection. And in the current media climate, that kind of stimulus is almost a necessity.
Totally. So where do you think this leaves us regarding the broader significance of such political maneuvers like Rubio's?
I think it leaves us with a lot to chew on. Decisions like these, even if partly rhetorical, help define our understanding of international accountability. They push the conversation about how domestic politics intersects with global governance. It reminds us that our institutions and leaders must be held to standards that transcend mere partisanship.
Yeah, well said. And it definitely makes us ask, how do we separate genuine legal critique from political theater?
That's the million-dollar question. It's about critically evaluating the sensational language versus the underlying facts. We need to, as discourse consumers, be both engaged and discerning.
Absolutely, yes. Well, this has been an enlightening conversation, mixing legal, political, and media insights into a complex but fascinating topic.
Indeed, it has. As we peel back the layers of Rubio's alleged interference with the UN, we see it's more than just a headline. It's part of a larger debate about accountability, integrity, and the intersection of politics and international law.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for joining in this deep dive. It's been a great discussion, and I'm sure our listeners are pondering the implications just as deeply.
For sure. Till next time, stay curious and keep questioning.